Picture this. You walk into a room, and without saying a single word, people feel your presence. Not because you're loud, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because there's something in the way you carry yourself that makes others uncomfortable. That's not arrogance, that's power. And today we're diving into the mind of Niccolò Machiavelli to uncover the dark art of confidence, so unshakable it actually terrifies people. This isn't about being liked. This is about being respected, feared, and impossible to ignore. Before we go deeper, if you want more psychological insights that transform the way you see yourself in the world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Depth of Psyche. We're just getting started, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let me ask you something. Why do most people fail at confidence? They think it's about positive affirmations, standing in front of a mirror and telling themselves they're amazing. That's cute, but it's useless. Real confidence, the kind Machiavelli understood, doesn't come from self-love. It comes from something far more primal. It comes from accepting the darkest truths about human nature and using them to your advantage. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to make friends. He wrote it to show leaders how to dominate, how to control, and how to survive in a world where weakness is punished without mercy. So what did Machiavelli know that most people refuse to accept? He knew that the world doesn't reward kindness, it rewards strength. He knew that people don't respect those who try to please everyone. They respect those who are willing to make hard decisions, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Confidence isn't about making people like you. It's about making them recognize that you're not someone to be taken lightly. Let's break this down. The first principle of Machiavellian confidence is this: stop seeking approval. Most people are trapped in an invisible prison, constantly looking over their shoulders, wondering what others think of them. They adjust their words, their actions, their entire personality just to avoid criticism. And what do they get in return? Nothing. Because people don't respect those who bend. They respect those who stand firm. Machiavelli said it best: it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Now, that doesn't mean you should be cruel for no reason, but it does mean you should stop caring whether people approve of your choices. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you become dangerous, because now you're operating on your own terms, and that makes people nervous. Think about the most confident people you've ever encountered. Did they care whether you like them? Did they apologize for taking up space? No. They moved through the world as if they owned it, and that energy made others either step aside or follow. That's the difference. Confidence isn't loud, it's silent. It's in the way you hold eye contact a second longer than feels comfortable. It's in the way you don't rush to fill awkward silences. It's in the way you make decisions and don't look back for reassurance. Now here's where it gets interesting. The second principle is this: embrace your ruthlessness. Most people are terrified of their own dark side. They've been taught that being nice, being agreeable, being soft is the way to succeed. But Machiavelli knew better. He understood that in any competitive environment, whether it's business, relationships, or social dynamics, being too nice makes you a target. People will take advantage of your kindness, and they won't even feel guilty about it. So what do? You learn to be selectively ruthless. Not cruel, not evil, but strategic. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a meeting and someone tries to take credit for your idea. Most people would stay silent, afraid of confrontation. But a Machiavellian thinker? They'd call it out immediately, calmly, without emotion. They'd say something like, "Actually, that was my proposal from last week. I'm glad you see the value in it." No aggression, just facts. But in that moment, everyone in the room knows you're not someone to be messed with. That's the power of calculated ruthlessness. You're not being mean. You're simply refusing to be disrespected. And here's the thing. When you start operating this way, people will call you intimidating. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of being cold. Good. Let them. Because what they're really saying is, you're no longer easy to control, and that scares me. And that's exactly where you want to be. Depth of Psyche exists to help you understand these uncomfortable truths, so you can navigate the world with clarity instead of confusion. The third principle is this: control the narrative. Machiavelli was obsessed with perception. He knew that reality doesn't matter as much as how people perceive reality. If you're seen as weak, you'll be treated as weak, even if you're secretly strong. If you're seen as powerful, people will respect you, even if you're still building that power. So, how do you control the narrative? You control what you reveal. Confident people don't overshare. They don't explain themselves constantly. They don't justify their decisions to everyone who questions them. They simply act and let their results speak. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the most mysterious people are the most intriguing? It's because they don't give everything away. They let others fill in the blanks, and human nature being what it is, people usually fill those blanks with assumptions of power and competence. Silence is a weapon. Not answering every question is a weapon. Letting people wonder about you is a weapon. Use it. Now let's talk about fear. Why does extreme confidence terrify people? Because it forces them to confront their own insecurities. When someone walks into a room with unshakable self-assurance, it highlights everyone else's self-doubt. It's a mirror people don't want to look into. And instead of admiring that confidence, most people will try to tear it down. They'll gossip. They'll criticize. They'll try to make you doubt yourself. This is where most people fail. They feel the pushback and think, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should tone it down. No, that's exactly what they want. The moment you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, you've lost. Machiavelli would tell you to expect resistance. In fact, he'd tell you that if people aren't uncomfortable around you, you're not confident enough. True power makes people uneasy. It disrupts the social order. It forces others to reconsider their own position in the hierarchy. And that's terrifying for them. But here's the secret. That fear they feel, it's not hatred. It's respect mixed with intimidation. And that combination is what keeps people from undermining you. Let me share something crucial. Confidence without competence is arrogance, and people can smell arrogance from a mile away. Machiavelli wasn't just about appearing strong. He was about being strong. So if you want confidence that truly terrifies, you need to back it up. You need skills, you need knowledge, you need results. Because when you combine quiet confidence with undeniable competence, you become untouchable. People won't just be intimidated by your presence, they'll be forced to respect your abilities. And that's when you've truly mastered the game. Here's a practical exercise. For the next week, practice saying no without explanation. When someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, just say, "No, I can't." Don't apologize. Don't over-explain. Don't justify. Just decline and move on. Watch what happens. You'll feel uncomfortable at first. But then you'll notice something. People start respecting your boundaries. They stop assuming you'll always be available. They begin to see you differently. That's the power of unapologetic confidence. Another thing Machiavelli understood was timing. He knew that power isn't just about strength. It's about knowing when to act and when to hold back. Confident people don't react immediately to every provocation. They observe. They wait. They choose their battles. Because true confidence doesn't need to prove itself constantly. It's secure enough to let minor disrespect slide, knowing that when it does act, the response will be calculated and devastating. Think of it like this. A lion doesn't roar to prove it's a lion, it just is. And when it does move, everything else gets out of the way. That's the energy you want to cultivate. Not loud, not desperate for attention, just undeniably present and impossible to ignore. Now, before we wrap up, I want you to do something. Drop a comment below telling me which Machiavellian principle resonated with you the most. Is it the idea of stopping approval seeking, embracing strategic ruthlessness, controlling your narrative? Let's start a conversation. And if this video gave you a new perspective, share it with someone who needs to hear this. Real growth happens when we challenge each other to think differently. Here's the final truth. Becoming confident enough to terrify people isn't about being a villain. It's about refusing to play the victim. It's about understanding that the world respects strength, decisiveness, and authenticity. It's about walking through life on your own terms, not asking for permission, not apologizing for taking up space. Machiavelli wasn't teaching evil. He was teaching survival in a world that devours the weak. So ask yourself this. Are you living on your own terms, Or are you constantly adjusting yourself to fit someone else's expectations? Are you making decisions based on what you truly want or based on what won't upset people? If you're still playing it safe, still seeking everyone's approval, still apologizing for your ambitions, then you're not confident. You're comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of greatness. The path Machiavelli described isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely at times. People will misunderstand you. Some will even turn against you. But here's what they won't do. They won't ignore you. They won't dismiss you. They won't dare underestimate you. And in a world full of people desperate to blend in, that makes you unforgettable. This is Depth of Psyche, where we explore the uncomfortable truths that transform you from ordinary to extraordinary. If you want more content that challenges you, empowers you, and gives you the tools to dominate your reality, subscribe now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And remember, confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being unapologetic. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to negotiate it. Now go out there and make them remember your name.